Hi, beautiful souls. I'm Joe. I'm here to inspire and share in hopes of you getting a better view on yourself and on your life. So I'm very excited to make today's video. It's actually the first real video that I'm making, but this is a topic that goes really deep into my heart, as you can see. So in the title, you can read the easiest way to manifest the life that you desire. And actually, this technique is pretty easy for some of us, some are better with it than others. Some get it quicker than others. And the secret to all of this is authenticity. Pure authenticity. Not more, not less. Just authenticity. Now, why do I say that some people struggle with this? People might live in a situation in which they don't feel safe to be themselves, or people are just completely afraid to be themselves at all, or people don't know themselves. And that's a bit of an issue, because how can we live a life that we love and we admire if we cannot be ourselves? So actually everything starts with being yourself and being able to express who you are, to be able to feel who you are, to stand in your truth. That's the most important thing for manifestation, in my opinion. I'm not a guru, I'm just a regular human being who has found some things to be true, and I'm just sharing those with you. So, how I'm going to do this video is first I'm going to share with you my story, something that happened when I was 16, 17 years old, to really make clear how this might change your life eventually. And after that, I still have my notes, okay? Don't judge me. I have ADHD. I know it's not an excuse, but still, I know I will forget otherwise, so bear with me. So, after telling my story to you, I will explain to you how I'm still using authenticity in the here and now to make you understand a bit more how you have to maintain this, because after a while we can get lost in the mask that we set up for ourselves to function in this society, okay? I fell into this not a long time ago, so it's very important to maintain that, because you can lose yourself like this. So that's also very important. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to get started, or things to remember in general. So let's first start off with the story. So this is actually a story that begins in kind of childhood, like always. So as a child, you're usually pretty authentic until you learn or you perceive from your parents, from people at school, from, I don't know, it could be anybody, anything, until you perceive that it's not okay to be yourself. And that's the trap that we all fell into. And after a while, some children grow up, become teens, and they go through life adjusting themselves to everybody, going along with the crowd, and not really being connected with what is within them, because they learn to hide it. But we're not doing that here. So I'm gonna share you my story and how I broke out of the inauthenticity cycle, and I'm going to show you the results. So when I was 16, 17 years old, I started experiencing a lot of mental health issues. I knew I was not doing good. I felt incomplete. I felt like something was missing. I felt like I was going through life as a zombie or something. I felt like I didn't have a soul, maybe. I don't know how to explain it. But of course, I had a very traumatic childhood. And not only that, of course, we go into society and we see that everybody just kind of follows the crowd, and you have certain rules that you have to obey. And yeah, I was really suffering as a consequence of all of these things. So I was doing really, really bad. And the thoughts that were going through my mind were, yeah, if I'm completely authentic, everybody would fucking hate me. If I'm completely authentic, nobody would want to hang out with me. If I'm completely authentic, my mom will dislike me. If I'm being authentic, everything will just come crashing down on me, and I will be so ashamed and nothing will ever work out for me. I cannot show myself. You know that feeling, right? Everybody has been through that feeling at some point in their lives. So eventually, because I'm kind of an empath, and I am a very sensitive person still to this day. And because of my sensitivity, I was that kind of child who could not act any longer. At 16, 17 years old, I was like, well, shit, I have thoughts about not wanting to be on this planet. And it's either I'm not going to be on this planet anymore, or I'm going to be really authentic. Even though I might lose everything, because it didn't matter to me anymore. I came to such a low point in my life where I was like, I have nothing to lose at this point, nothing. So I just kind of went for it, and I started opening up about how I felt internally, while simultaneously thinking that people would not be able to help me. Eventually, I just kind of called up psychiatrists, and I was like, girl, there's something wrong with me. Can you give me a diagnosis and tell me what's wrong with me? And then I got there, and she did the diagnostic criteria and everything, and she actually diagnosed me with borderline personality disorder. I don't know, maybe you know about it, maybe you don't. I'm not going to get into the whole criteria. I also do not identify with borderline personality disorder any longer, because I have actually transformed past that. Of course, there are still trauma triggers, there are still things that I have to go through, but borderline was the answer. Now, what happened from then on? Then, after being that authentic, we figured out that maybe it was best for me to go into therapy. And I'm sorry for people who live in the United States who are watching this. Our healthcare is actually awesome. So it was possible for me to get into the right group of therapy. And through the diagnosis that I got at the time, which does not make sense to me anymore right now, through that diagnosis, I was able to meet like-minded people. I was able to connect with people for the first time in my life. And I discovered that what I felt and what I had to say did matter. And there were a lot of other people experiencing the same exact thing. So that was to me validation that, oh, maybe I'm not that abnormal. Maybe I'm just normal, actually. And just sensitive, but sensitivity and vulnerability is actually such a powerful thing to have, you know. It's not like it's bad. So that was actually my whole experience with the first time that I was able to be authentic. And that was the starting point for finding my purpose in life, which is helping people. And after a few years of being myself unapologetically, I managed to find an education that really fit with me, which is the Expert by Experience course. How do you call it? Like, I follow this in college. I will graduate, excuse me, I just burped. I will graduate very soon. And yeah, I'm already working what I'm doing there, like peer support. And I absolutely love this job. So I never thought I would be able to help people, and I found my purpose. Helping people in general is my purpose. That's why I'm also here. So I found my truth through being authentic in that way, even though it was really scary, really scary. But hey, things that are scary are sometimes the things that we should do. Get out of your comfort zone, you know? So now I just kind of want to tell to you how I'm still maintaining this in my life. I still have to maintain my authenticity, because it's so easy to kind of relapse into not being yourself, and you're not even aware of it. Like, that's the scary part of it. So I'm going to talk to you about how I try to maintain my authenticity with the challenges of today. So in my job that I have, in my work that I do, once I was kind of rejected by a psychiatric facility to work there because they didn't agree with a part of my life, which was very hurtful to me. They were like not agreeing at all with how I did my private life. And so they did not think I was going to be a great expert by experience, you know. I was not going to be a great peer supporter, apparently. Even though I have done this job many times before, and I know I can, I can keep it real, I can keep it safe. I can create a safe environment. Eventually, I was like, well, what do I do now? Do I lie to them and make sure I can maintain this job? Because in the back of my head, I was afraid that I would never be able to find another place to work again, which is actually stupid because I'm now at a great place to work. But I was like, okay, maybe this job is not for me, you see? Maybe it's not safe to be authentic. And that all got a bit more intense with people of my classmates. They were telling me like, oh my God, Joe, how can you be so stupid? Don't tell this to anybody. Don't tell this. You need to become an adult and stop being so authentic. Not everybody deserves your authenticity. And I was like, oh yeah, maybe it's true. Maybe I need to be less authentic, maybe, yeah, we just have to lie like every other adult in this life almost at their job. So I just kind of started to think that was the best way to go. But you know what I did eventually? I quit. I just quit. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not fitting in this place because I cannot be 100% myself. And I think that the goal of my job is to actually be 100% authentic. So I left that place and I was like, okay, now we're in the unknown, and the unknown is very scary. But eventually, through being authentic again and again and again, my professors they even admired me for my authenticity. They didn't think that anything was wrong with my private life. They were actually kind of shocked that they were judging me because of that. So yeah, eventually I got a lot of compliments from my professors. And the thing is, I work at a very good place now. And again, I was completely authentic. I told them exactly how I lived my life and they were fine with it. So it was actually not needed to change myself. It might take some searching. It might take some time to get to know the right people or the right places for you. I'm not saying that, but eventually you will earn the benefits from being authentic. And can you already kind of see how I'm manifesting my life in a kind of easy way through authenticity? This is so powerful. So I have many other stories that I could tell about authenticity, but these are the few ones that really stand out to me. So enough about me. Enough. Now we're going to talk about you and what you can do. The first tip I'm going to give you, and this can be a hard one. I think this is the most difficult part of the whole process. But once you see it, you cannot unsee it, basically. And this is the first step to manifesting true authenticity. It is actually to sit down with yourself. Quiet. Nobody else around. Just you, your thoughts, and your feelings. Try to relax a bit while doing this, even though it's terrifying, but try to really come to face with who you are and what you want in this life. You have to be certain about that. You have to get to know what you value and what you don't value. You have to really trust yourself, because your purpose can be found when looking at yourself with true authenticity, being completely honest with yourself. There may even come up things that you don't like about yourself, that you don't want to admit, but don't forget, things that you don't like are maybe actually your superpower. It doesn't mean you're bad. You're allowed not to like things. And with disliking things, you come closer and closer and closer to your truth. That's the great part about it. Don't be afraid of what comes up. As Ralph Smart says, one of my favorite YouTubers, the only way out is in. So really go within and sit with yourself. So the second tip that I have for you is actually, I'm going to say it in two ways. So I would say, if you're really into meditation and such, try to focus, find a meditation on YouTube that can open your throat chakra. Really focus on it, because This is what makes you able to express your truth to others. And you know what? It's important to also be able to do that. Because if you keep your truth within and never express it, then you know what? You're also not really being authentic, maybe. So you know what I'm saying, right? Like if you know what you think, you can also decide to not tell people, which I was trying to do back in that job that did not approve with my life. But don't fall into that trap, because your voice matters. There is space for you to express. You have all the space. And now I'm going to say it in a more practical way. Speak your truth. Speak your truth. This is the most powerful thing you could ever do. The truth is so powerful, even if people do not agree with it. It doesn't matter. This is your life. This is not their life. And through doing this, through speaking your truth, you will finally meet people who actually relate to you. And you will feel so much better about yourself because people are reflecting back to you. You will find people that actually listen to what you have to say. So I think it's clear why doing this and expressing yourself is a very important step in this process. The third tip I have is actually to, and I struggle with this too, you guys. I struggle with this too sometimes. I'm not perfect. Is to actually let go of the outcome. Because if we're focused on, okay, I'm going to tell my truth and now everybody's going to suddenly agree with me and then my life will be like this and like that. No. Drop the expectations. Do it because it's in your heart to do it. Don't expect anything out of it, because let me tell you, you will be disappointed so many times. A lot of people will not get you. It might take you years to even find your tribe, to find your voice, to really manifest true authenticity. It takes a while. It doesn't happen like this. It just does not, man. And I don't know, stick with it. It's crazy. It's a process, but if you really value authenticity, you should just go for it, and eventually the universe will get back to you. The universe will give you something after a while, okay? Universe is maybe waiting a bit, testing you a bit to see if you actually stick to this. The fifth tip that I have is actually to not be hard on yourself, okay? Do you hear me? Do not be too hard on yourself. Okay, I'm going to say it in a soft voice. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't do it. It doesn't work. I'm sorry that I'm laughing. It's actually not funny, but I'm just really trying to express that being hard on yourself is not going to help you in any way. This process could take a long time or a short time. It really depends, but nevertheless, don't be too hard on yourself. If you've never been authentic, it's normal to feel insecure. It's normal to have crazy thoughts like I was thinking in my story of like, well, shit, everybody is going to hate me and I'm not good enough. But just have patience with yourself, okay? Just try to notice the thoughts. Notice them appear and notice them also disappear. I've learned this through meditation. Try to really have some faith in yourself, You are not your thoughts. Even though they might feel like they're coming in so strong and you might feel like they have control over you, you actually have the key to your mind. In the end, you have the key to your mind. I know this is a hard one, but just don't be hard on yourself. Really try to show yourself kindness like you would to a friend. You're doing better than you think, honestly. If you're liking this video so far, by the way, please don't forget to subscribe and maybe share your experience down below, because I love to hear other things from other people, because I want to get like more intelligent in I don't know, I think your experiences make me more intelligent as a person, And I can you tell I just love experiences. The sixth tip that I have is to embrace the unknown. I know. That's hard. I struggle with this too. I hate the unknown and I hate change. But like I'm learning to embrace it, because to be real, and this is just a hard truth about life, everything is constantly changing. Everything. You cannot stop it, you cannot do anything about it. And you're expected to change with it, you know? So don't be afraid to transform your life through authenticity. Things will change and you will step into the unknown, but you cannot imagine what better things the universe has in store for you. You cannot know. The ego wants to know how everything is going. But this is something beyond us. Being authentic comes from a place of love. So don't fear change. Don't fear it. Keep going for what you believe in. So actually the conclusion is, own it. Own your fears. Your fears don't have to stop you. Really, they don't. And eventually you're going to grow stronger out of all of this. If you can be authentic, even though people do not accept that, or even though you lose some things, which by the way, you only lose things that are not meant for you, you will get closer and closer and closer to the life you want. And this is honestly the simplest technique ever. Ever. But as I said, for some people it might be more difficult than others. And if you're just starting out with this, I wish you so much luck in this process. And I promise you, one day, the universe will give back to you. Thank you for watching this video.